Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now with the first two games of the day in our match history, let's have a look at the current standings. Up at the top of the table is, of course, SK Gaming at 18 wins, 10 losses. Fnatic in second with 16 and 11. Roccat in third at 15 and 12. And Alliance in fourth at 14 and 12.
Sitting in fifth position and about to take to the stage is Gambit at 14 and 13. Copenhagen Wolves are still in sixth place with a shot and making fifth, depending on this result and the game later in the day. And then the two teams that are locked in, Superheart Crew in 7th at 10 and 18, and Millennium in 8th place at 9 and 19.
And now it is time for our next match as Alliance take on Gambit. And Alliance is one of only 3 teams who can finish in the second seed, along with Fnatic and Roccat, and they need a win here to set that into motion.
Yeah, and Gambit can go as high as third, but in order for that to happen, here's the scenario. They need to beat Alliance here, Fnatic needs to beat Roccat, and Alliance needs to beat Wolves at the end of the day. That would result in a 3-way tiebreaker and give Gambit a shot at the third seed if they win.
Gambit did have an unauthorized pause yesterday in their game against Fnatic. All teams give the referees a sign-off on their settings before the start of the game, and pauses mid-game to change settings will result in a penalty.
So due to this pause, it does mean that Gambit will lose 1 ban in this game, which could really affect things for the team. Considering how important it is for teams to get the ability to pick their preferred champions or counter-pick their opponents, we'll have to see how this picks and bans plays out.
Well, coming into this game, Alliance are, of course, they lost both of their previous games. They were on track to break Fnatic's all-time winning record of 9 games back-to-back, and to break that record, they would have actually had to take down Fnatic themselves, funnily enough. Alliance did put up one hell of a fight, but simply didn't manage to beat them. Now, yesterday, Alliance lost to Millennium in a game that was much closer for a longer period of time, but they couldn't contain Kotanex again on that Kha'Zix, and they played 2 games today and could still possibly take that second place in the table.
So it's not all bad for Alliance, but in general, they haven't gone down without a fight. In all of their losses, they've been outplayed by their opponents. To break it down, the loss against Fnatic, I feel like Alliance were chasing fights longer than they needed to, and those extended chases allowed Fnatic to grab advantages and eventually the win. Now remember the stat that we had earlier with Gambit winning the second most games in the 30 to 40 minute mark, and Alliance winning the most? It ties into the fact that both of their games this week have been over 45 minutes.
Yeah.
This is uncharted territory for the team. And you know, at the start of the season, Alliance didn't know how to play the late game, so this could be a symptom of coming back to haunt them. So I just want to say that I do feel like Alliance didn't create enough opportunities for themselves against Millennium yesterday. They were controlled by the aggressive plays and were unable to get past Blitzcrank hooks and Kotanex Kha'Zix cleanups. So we'll have to see how they do today. Both of the games were lost for completely different reasons. One to Fnatic, one to Millennium. Alliance just needs to calm their nerves, get back into their groove, and come into this game with a clear head.
And Gambit come into their last game of the regular season at 14 wins, 13 losses, and are currently 1 win and 2 losses against Alliance. Now, starting with their win against Roccat, the fact of the matter is that they just completely smashed them. The game ended in under 25 minutes and Alex landed every single spear as Nidalee. However, in their 2 losses this week, the stories were very different. The Wolves controlled Gambit with Heimerdinger and exhibited great zone and map control, whereas Fnatic secured smaller objectives one by one until they had Gambit run the ropes and they had no way out.
Yeah, so in general, Gambit continue to do what Gambit do best. They win a game in absolutely convincing fashion, but then drop games because of unorthodox picks like UD in the jungle or simply getting outplayed like they did against Fnatic. Now, they've been near the top of the standings for many, many weeks, but I've never felt any sort of prolonged dominance like we've seen from other teams like Fnatic, Roccat, Alliance, and even SK Gaming. And now this is their last chance to pick up a win before heading into the playoffs. And I guess I'm still really waiting to see a consistent, high level of gameplay coming out of Gambit.
Both teams thrive on strong jungle and mid lane team play, and the players predict this could be the deciding factor in the upcoming game.
If you want to beat Gambit, you have to have a good early game, so you have the advantage.
Alliance is a really hard team to beat right now because they're playing really strong. I think that Wicked stepped up his game as well as the bot lane.
The pick and bans are really good at most of the time, and sometimes they're completely derp and then you free win the game, but mostly they're really good at pick and bans and they'll often outpick their opponents.
It's some kind of Froggen-oriented team. So overall, they are playing really good duo with Shook and Froggen. That's why Froggen is getting ahead. And then if the other lanes are not losing, then this helps to win the game.
Gambit's playstyle is a lot of teamfight oriented, I think. Like, they have a tank top lane who can tank a lot in teamfights, usually dives really far in the teamfights for the AD carry or the AP, usually with Diamond together because they're both really tanky and Diamond gets a lot of farm. And then like in mid lane they have an assassin or they have a heavy AP hero.
It's really hard to find their weak spots right now, and I think that the super team hype is coming to truth.
And it's hard to disagree with that whole mid lane and jungler synergy that we've seen from Gambit for years now, and something that Alliance are doing really well.
Yeah, Shook has really stepped up in recent weeks. He's becoming a very important member of the Alliance team, and I think if you look at Gambit, if you beat them in the laning phase, you can't count that as a complete win, because at IEM, they lost all their laning phases and still made it to the semifinals. So we'll have to see how Alliance do here today.
Well, let's check out the lineups for our two teams, starting with the blue side and Alliance. They're, of course, Wicked in the top lane, Shook in the jungle, Froggen in the mid, Tabs the AD carry, and Nif the support.
And on the red side, it is Gambit Gaming. Darian up top, Diamond in the jungle, Alex in the mid, with Genji as AD carry, and Edward playing support.
And our featured matchup today centers on the supports, Nif and Edward, who both love to wield the hook and the lantern. Both players have impressive numbers on Thresh, some of the best, in fact, in Europe, and Nif has had an extra game on the Chain Warden, but Eddie keeps it very close in their stat lines.
Yeah, and while Thresh may be a hotly contested pick or ban for these teams, we've actually seen both players perform on a multitude of support picks. Edward has played 5 games on Annie and picked up a 3.4 KDA, and we've seen Nif go a little bit tankier with his picks, with 7 games played on Leona, acquiring that 2.4 KDA of his own. I think even though Edward leads the league in kills, he secured them for the support role at 39. He has yet to score a kill versus Alliance. This is something that Nif has done against Gambit, as he's picked up 3 kills. In terms of the head-to-head KDA stats on Thresh, I think this is a champion that Nif has been much better with in recent weeks. Edward has had 1 game that really stands out to me as impactful, and I'm not expecting it to make it through picks and bans.
I absolutely love when we have Edward in a featured matchup and we focus on how many kills he's got. That's just typical Edward style. You know, we always said he was the Thresh Prince. We'll see if that makes it through the bans, because we are going to be moving into Champion Select here very shortly. What are you expecting to see?
So jungle bans and probably mid bans would be a priority. Thresh could be fairly high up. I don't know if either team want to ban it out, but I would say Kha'Zix, Evelynn, maybe getting rid of the Nidalee. We've seen how good Alex is when he dismantled Rockcat on Tuesday this week, just landed every single spear. So I think that has to be a priority, and you do have to remember Gambit do have 1 ban removed for that unauthorized pause yesterday.
First ban coming out will be Evelynn for Alliance, funnily enough. Obviously showing that they don't want to first pick that one. The fact is that Shook has done incredibly well with Evelynn so far. If you tally up some of his wins there, he's way into double figures in terms of the kills that he's pulled off from that one. Second ban will be Lulu. Pretty standard against Gambit. Don't want to let Alex have that.
Yeah, you know, it's actually something that we see a lot of targeted towards Alex. Yesterday, Froggen ran Lulu. He first picked it as well, if memory serves, and it was somewhat uninspiring. I think the problem with Lulu now, with the changes to the Lich Bane, is just how long it takes for her to hit that power spike. She can no longer get to that power position with just an Athena's Holy Grail and a Lich Bane. She needs to get a Death Cap thrown in there as well. So that mid-game boost that you get from Lulu's is not quite as impactful anymore.
What comes next? Nidalee taken away from Froggen. Stay with mid lane here in terms of bans, as LeBlanc is removed from Gambit and Alex Ich. What is their second ban going to be here? Their final ban as well.
So Kha'Zix is still available. You've still got the likes of Gragas up there as well. It's a difficult one to call. I would expect maybe a jungle ban, maybe force Shook into something that's a little less comfortable for him. We might see Lee Sin being played, as both Shook and Diamond have played Lee Sin this split and had pretty good moments actually for both of them. So we'll see, and at the end of the day, they decide not to ban anything. They're leaving it open. They're leaving more champions open. And
it's not the first time that we've actually seen Gambit do this. They have already once this season thrown away a ban. It's going to give Kha'Zix over to Alliance, and I believe that was Wicked who was laughing in the background pretty loudly on seeing that. They're going to get their hands on Kha'Zix, but this is not something that Gambit will do lightly here. They've got plans.
So the thing is, you've got so many options. You can go Lucian Thresh, you can go Lee Sin, you can lock in Renekton now if they want to go for that safe pick where, you know, we've been seeing Wicked actually picking, you know, Trundle and Shyvana a lot. there's options here for Gambit. If we do see Caitlyn, I was looking at some stats. I think Genja had not played Caitlyn until this week.
Yeah.
For over 8 months in the LCS at the top tier level. So it's nice to see him adding the champion to his champion pool, and it's also a fairly safe champion. You can do well in lane. But now we need to see, do Alliance, what do they want to lock in? What mid lane are they going to go for? I'm almost expecting farm-heavy mid laners for both Froggen and Alex. Although Zed's up, let me just throw that out there.
Zed is up there. We know that Alex plays it. We've seen Froggen venturing into Zed territory, and that was in their win against SK last week, where he actually ended 9-1-7. So we know that Froggen can pull it out, can do the business with the Zed. For now, though, it seems like Alliance are quite happy to settle and take the Lucian, and there is the Zed. They've still got 40 seconds, although they might change things up from that. As you mentioned, only the second time in a very long time that we're going to be seeing Genja playing Caitlyn.
I don't think the Zed will be locked in, and my reason for this is when we do interviews with Froggen and we discuss their particular champion picks, he almost always includes a discussion like, the magic damage in our team came from our jungler, that's why we played Evelyn. The physical damage from our team came from mid lane, that's why we played Zed. And noticing that Lucian's being hovered over with Kha'Zix as a jungle, I am expecting a ability power-based mid laner. Gragas is up, Ziggs is up. There are some picks from Orianna still there. Hell, Froggen could get his hands on Karthus if he felt it would work, because we know how much he likes that champion. He raves about it all the time.
And he is Ignite Flash, which he's told us before that's exactly how he likes to run his Karthus. In the end, though, it is going to be Lucian and Nami actually picked up here. We have already seen Nami earlier on in the season. In fact, the last time they played Nami was against Gambit.
So it's a safe pickup. I mean, she offers a whole lot to your team. You do have Sustain, you've got the bubble for CC. It's all skill shot dependent. And as it stands, Thresh and Caitlyn are, I don't want to say predictable, but you know, you see a lantern landing, you can throw the bubble down, you can knock them up. Alternatively, you can try catch Caitlyn out. I don't know if Alliance will be looking for a straight 2v2 because Thresh and Caitlyn are going to outpoke Lucian and Nami, and it's going to be up to Nif to keep Tabs healed up with that ebb and flow. Try keep him topped off as the lane progresses.
So next champions coming in, Ziggs for Alex Ich and Lee Sin in the jungle for Diamond. And we've seen Diamond, in fact, in the last game they played it against Fnatic, 2-1-4, not the biggest of impacts. I mean, if you look at the only win that they've got this week is against Roccat. He finished 7-0-1 on Kha'Zix. He carried Gambit to that victory.
I completely agree with you. And I think if Diamond is on form, he can do incredible things with Lee Sin. But he needs to make sure he gets off to a good start. As it stands, Gambit have got a fairly well-rounded composition. The only thing they're really lacking right now is hard engage. In order to jump onto Alliance, they need to land a Death Sentence, they need to land a Sonic Wave, and they need to commit. But they do a very good poke. Gambit have got Ziggs, they have got Caitlyn. They can siege well, they can defend well. And as it stands, with Alliance's composition, they're going for an 90% attack damage based composition. Kha'Zix is 80, Shyvana's 80. Yes, there's some magic from a Burnout and a Dragon's Descent, but not that much to write off. For Alliance, they are going to be looking for for bursts to jump in there, blow somebody up with that Zed, with Shyvana and Kha'Zix to clean up, and then running the rest of the team down. Hoping that the tidal wave is going to be enough disruption to buy them the couple of precious seconds they need to assassinate someone.
And if this will see us bringing out the Trundle once again, get yourself just completely armor tanky, steal away some stats from your opponents and run right in the middle of the fights. Currently they're hovering over Vel'Koz. They've already got a support and a mid laner in there, so don't expect that Darien all of a sudden is going to play Vel'Koz. Immobile champions are not his thing. No,
Renekton and Trundle would probably be, options 1 and 2. We have seen Darien playing Ryze a whole bunch this week. I don't know if he wants to go Ryze into the double AD and the early aggression from Alliance, so probably going for the safe pick. And like I said, I think Gambit have got your de facto 2014 season composition. Lee Sin in the jungle, aggressive early game jungler, farm heavy AP mid laner with a safe duo lane of Caitlyn and Thresh. The only thing Gambit are lacking, as are Alliance on the same token, is a reliable hard engage. What I do like though is on the side of Gambit, I feel the composition is more well-rounded, and if they don't fall behind Zed, they can do pretty well. Ziggs is good wave control. Alliance are going to be looking to split push. Alliance are going to be looking to play the map, let Zed stay in one lane, let Shyvana stay in the other lane, and just trying to keep Gambit guessing as to where they're going to be pushing.
So when he important game here for both teams. Still a lot to be decided around this midpoint of the table and basically how everyone moves into these playoffs in the seedings. You guys, of course, have been voting on which teams will win today, so let's check in and see how this match tallies up. With 58% of the vote, Gambit holds a slight lead over Alliance. And, well, I think this is about as close to 50-50 as we've got for most of the season, and I think it's about right as well.
Yeah, super important game for both of these teams. This is Gambit's last match on Super Week. Alliance are currently 0-2, so Alliance are going to be looking to at least get a win on the board, get some confidence before they face the Copenhagen Wolves later today. And Alliance are still battling for second place. If Alliance get some wins together, they can challenge for second. On the other side of the coin, Gambit's best case scenario is third place. So there is quite a lot on the line. That's a first round bye for Alliance if stars align and all of these tiebreaker scenarios work in their favor.
Now, we do have people behind the scenes making sure that we get everything right when it comes to our math, because we're just rubbish at that. So thankfully, we've got
it's a 2,000 gold lead, 2,000 gold lead, 2,000 gold lead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've got some guys in the background helping us out with that one, so we'll keep you filled in as we go throughout the day as to what's going to be happening and how many, if any, tiebreakers will come after our regular games. But for now, we're in game Alliance versus Gambit. I'm going to ask about level 1 again, because our previous 2 games we have seen fights at level 1. The first game we did see blood there as well. Second one, close to seeing first blood, but no kills actually came down.
So both of these teams have actually got skills that could help you in level 1. If you go for the Aqua Prism from Nami, that is some very strong, reliable CC, and you do have pretty good damage from the rest of the team. On the other side of the coin, you've got a Death Sentence. What we do see from these level 1s, though, is they tend to be delayed. You don't often see teams going straight out the gate, rushing as 5 into a bush, and then, invading. We've seen from game 1 of the day, Millennium were just hiding out in this river until about 2 minutes when we seen J-Ree flash over the wall. So, as it stands, defensive starts. We see a lane swap coming up from Gambit already. They've thrown Caitlyn and Thresh to the top lane. When they beat Rocket, they did the same thing, and they did a hard push on the tower. Let's see if they try play the similar style. It's different champions, but they have the ability to play the same style. Get good poked out, get a good number of towers, and prevent Alliance from safely farming their lanes in the mid-game.
They've spotted Darian early here, though. For me, that could be a possible early mistake. We can see that Darian actually is now, is he going to be moving away? No. Do they want this 2v1? Are they happy with that one, Alliance? We'll find out, but they definitely saw Darian on this bottom side of the map. Edward and Genja have now gone further into that brush, and even as Siobhan, you still need to be a little bit careful about how you go face-checking these brushes on the top of river.
Yeah, she does have a flash available, and keep note that Wicked is running teleport, so that map presence is going to be there. We have seen Gambit doing the customary Gambit invade. When they do a lane swap, Edward and Genja will always check their opponent's blue bush. And when you look at other teams like Fnatic punish it better than anybody else. Edward has even joked in post-game interviews saying, yeah, we gave up first blood on our blue invade like we always do. And it's just something that as a team, Gambit are actually very predictable with. So they ended up going for they get some early vision. You'll notice that Shook is not on his blue. He's clearing out the Wraith camp, and there's some support now for Diamond as they steal away this objective.
There is a ward in that brush, though, so we'll see Alliance having complete vision over this one, but that blue's going to go down far too quickly for them to do anything about it. The question now is, can Shook steal away the Gambit blue as well?
It's going to be a little bit... Well, it's kind of safer in some ways because Alliance, if they have any sort of engages, Tabs and Nif are closer to react. And for Darian and for Alex to respond, they're going to be giving up a lot of presence in that lane. So as it stands, it's completely uncontested. They're going to even out that invade. You'll notice that Diamond is still sticking around in Alliance's jungle. Finally decides to back away. Didn't see if he actually cleared that Wolf camp out. But at the end of the day, even it up. Trade steal 1 buff for steal 1 buff.
So, we see the push of these 2v1s. Nif and Tabs already getting a decent wave pushed on towards Darian's turret. Those bottom turrets,
they want to dive in.
Are a little bit easier to take down, and they are going to be jumping in from this one. That blue buff was with Chuck. He jumps in, Darian flashes away, but lost more than half of his health. Now Diamond is coming back around. That'd still leave a 3-on-2. There's still a minion wave there as well behind them to protect them. They don't have to tank the turret or anything as they run back in.
Successful gank, managing to get the flash down. If an Aqua Prison lands on Darien, he is in kill threat. You'll notice Nif is level 3, has got 1 point in each of his abilities. Let's see if they can land the CC. As it stands though, Alliance have made no attempt to go for the kill. They just want the objective. They want the tower.
And they're going to get it here, aren't they? There's 5 or so caster minions in there, and there is a turret going down. There's a bubble, and Diamond has to flash away from it.
Yeah, again, Diamond and Darien, I think they were maybe a little greedy with the XP. They stuck around for that tower as long as they could. 2 flashes burned. Early advantage to Alliance. If Shook and Froggen manage to catch anybody out, it'll play in their favor. We do see Wicked already returning with some potions, as well as that cloth armor. But Gambit are doing a good job. This tower's below half hit points, and remember, it still has that damage reduction before 8 minutes.
They should be able to get rid of it in the next couple of waves. Tabs, Shock, and Nif continue the pressure on the bottom lane. They're going to be 3 men hammering away on that inner turret. Diamond continues to stick around just in case he can get involved.
Yeah, this is a risky defense for Darien and Diamond. Not only are they facing 3 members of Alliance, neither of them have their flashes. So if they make a misstep at all, there is the possibility to grab first blood. The one thing that is a little frustrating for Alliance, they don't have a ranged jungler, so defending the tower, taking the tower is going to be more difficult. Look at the damage on Wicked.
Yeah, there's a flayback, and we see the flash from Wicked. Had to use that one. If he'd have tried to run off, he would have gone down there. And Gambit continue to pressure this top side of the map. There's another wave now coming in with them, and it looks like actually they've been forced back on this bottom lane, finally. So Alliance going to be recalling from that one. They will lose their inner tower, though.
Yeah, so they're going to end up trading 1 tower for 1 tower as Genja decides to kill this one, denying all of the minions, I'm expecting, and really just trying to hurt Wicked as much as they can. Finally, it goes down. So both of the top laners have hit level 4 at this point in time. 11 CS to 12, and the war of attrition has not necessarily been worse for one team over the other. It is more difficult to take that top tower for Gambit because of the damage reduction. So you could argue who's going to come away with the advantage, but lanes are resetting, and now we're going to see the 2v2 as this Lucian Nami lane is going to be moving into place against Caitlyn and Thresh.
Lucian got himself Vamp Scepter, Boots of Speed, and a single Doran's Blade, and that's exactly what Genja has over on the other side. Between the supports, Coin for Nif plus the Sightstone, all the way around for Edward. He has himself a Sightstone, actually picking up a pink ward just to join in with at this stage. And well, we thought Genja were going to, and Edward were going to go to that bottom lane. Actually, as it turns out, they've come mid here to go up against Froggen.
So we'll see how quickly they can take this tower down. There's no support from the rest of Gambit yet. Diamond as well as Alex were in the base. So, you know, we've seen when Gambit took apart Rockout with their siege comp. They had Caitlyn, they had Nidalee as well, and they did a very, very good job of making it work then. Diamond was playing Diamond was playing Kha'Zix, so yeah, that's how much I associate the champion with him. But as it stands, the support is coming in for Gambit, and they've definitely set their sights on this tower. Alliance responding, their dual lanes moving up.
Can't actually get in there for any more damage. Alex keeping them, Froggen keeping them at bay. And again,
it's been a long week. It's been a long week.
It has. I mean, you know, the good thing is, Quick Shot, we're only just getting started here tonight, I think. But they continue that pressure. Alex has now joined in with them. Nif has come over to offer a little bit of support as well, and they can clear those waves out pretty quickly. Top lane, Darien is actually putting quite a lot of pressure onto that inner turret, and we can now see that maybe the rest of the team will start to move in. But that Renekton level 6 to level 5 of Wicked Shyvana.
This is a very risky pressure because you'll notice the only ward coverage that Gambit have right now is at that sort of river junction towards the blue buff. So Darien is very overextended. He's trying to make use of the strength that Renekton has over Shyvana in the early game and finally backs away. It is only a trinket ward though, so it's not going to last the longest period of time. First blue buff was taken by Diamond and Gambit, and they're setting themselves up for a 3-man steal, but there's 4 members of Alliance close by. This is a little risky. They've got the blue buff, and Darien, can he get taken out?
Smited away is the blue. Will he escape this one? Lantern off to Edward. Hook comes out as well, but that didn't quite have the right trajectory, and Alliance lose out on their second blue buff in a row. Question for me now is, can Gambit protect their own blue buff as well?
I think that they can. Genja's already moved down to start pushing out that bottom wave. You notice that in that engage, Froggen was hesitant with his death mark. He didn't want to throw it on Darien's Renekton because it was a calculated risk. Dominus was up and available, so the likelihood of killing Darien was severely reduced. And you'll notice that because Gambit could stay as a nice tight unit and Genja had control of that bottom lane, it just allows them to secure their own blue buff. And we go back to this laning phase. Darien now has vision, had vision of the blue buff side of the jungle, and he's still going to stick around trying to pull pressure. The moment people move up to Darien, I'm expecting the rest of Gambit to go for Dragon, as they always do when Darien pulls pressure.
Really do that to come back, come back in the gold here as well. Gambit just hovering around, warding that Tribush. The ward actually inside of the Dragon Pit from Alliance will in fact time out. And look at this, Diamond, is he going to get things started? He wards that Death Brush. To be honest, if they did it now, they could take this Dragon without any problem.
This is actually quite smart because they have the advantage here. They have, very good AoE. They've got good long-range poke. In order for Alliance to contest that Dragon, they have to all in. They have to throw Wicked in there with his Dragon's Descent. They want Shook and Froggen to be jumping in stealth and with his Death Mark. So quite smart play if they try to force it. Right now, though, they've jumped on Alex.
Oh, this could be real bad news. Death Mark goes down, Exhaust is in. Froggen actually, he's not going to go down. He went back to his Shadow, got the first blood with the pop of his Death Mark as well.
Yeah, so Alex almost gets the damage through. Doesn't manage to survive. He opted to go for Exhaust over Barrier. I don't think it would have made a big difference that time around. And that was a smart play by Shook. He was moving towards the Dragon Pit thanks to Diamond starting it off. And it was a very easy jump around, throw down the stealth, leap onto Alex's head, and they grab themselves the first kill of the game. That's exactly what Alliance are looking for.
And that stops any immediate pressure, at least around the Dragon area. Shook is going to soak up a bit of experience and gold on those middle turrets. And well,
it's a big wall.
He meant to do it.
It's a big wall. So
oh, Edward gonna throw out the hook, catches the fish. Has Genja got enough damage here? The flame was good. Piltover lands. He does have the ace in the hole and he's got enough mana for it. Knows that Tabs is probably just gonna step in front of that one if he tries.
Yeah, so Nif putting himself in a body block position if that ace in the hole came down, and just a good hook from Edward. Didn't secure a kill now, but if you look at that lane presence, because of the Caitlyn Thresh, the range that they offer and the poke, they have a good sizable CS lead. Now, to be fair, there is a 10 or 12 CS here, so Tabs is going to be hard pressed to secure all of them under the tower. Started himself off fairly well, but look at the damage that Genji and Edward are putting onto this bottom turret. They're trying to get this down as quickly as possible. I think if you go back to that Dragon play from earlier on, I almost feel like Gambit could have forced it. Gambit were in a position, they had more numbers in the Dragon Pit, and now Froggen's a little bit away. Alex isn't even with Diamond. Now they're going for the Dragon. You have to wonder, why did they stop earlier? What was the decision that prevented them securing it? Regardless, they grab it this time.
The longer it goes on, the more it's going to be worth anyway. So there is the first one of the game going over to Gambit, and it puts them 1,000 gold in the lead in the early stages. 1-1 in turrets, of course, of the exchange of top and bottom outer turrets earlier on in the match. If we look down some of the items now as well, Froggen got himself Brutalizer Cutlass. Obviously, Alex, a little bit less damage than you might associate with a Ziggs normally. Ended up going in there for that Seeker's Arm Guard here. He's, of course, going to be working towards these Zhonyas to stay safe from the Zed.
Yeah, I think it's a crucial item, not only that for Zed, but for Kha'Zix as well. Reduce the effectiveness of him getting those resets in team fights, and all of a sudden, you wait for Kha'Zix's ultimate to time out and then try to take him down. We've seen that Genji and Edward, they've backed away from that heavy pushing right now, even though Genji's picked up his BF sword. So we'll see how far they can push the lane down. And while all of this action's been going on the last 3 or 4 minutes, Darien is just slowly pulling a little bit further ahead. He's got a tiny bit of vision in his blue buff, but nobody's even made an attempt to jump onto Renekton. He is quite hard to stick to. With Slice and Dice and Flash and Dominus, it is going to be quite a difficult task of taking him down. So for Alliance to do that, they've got to invest a lot of resources.
Yeah, Shook not really got the damage at this stage, I think, and he's still pretty squishy as well, and Darien's not the kind of guy who hesitates when he thinks he can turn around and have a good go at you. And here we see again the push into that blue buff area, and they're looking for complete control of that.
Yeah, they don't want to give Alliance any blue buff for Zed. Reduce the spam, reduce the wave clear that he's got, and also reduce his kill power on Alex. You know, Alex has come out of this laning phase. He's been killed once to a gank. He's got a CS lead, and he's sort of controlled Froggen, I think is the best way to put it. Froggen hasn't been roaming. He hasn't been moving around the map. Darien is keeping the presence in that top lane, and now all of a sudden Edward looks like he's going to get caught. Dodges the bubble though.
Oh, this could get messy. Nick will throw out the tidal wave there. There's a dodge back from Diamond. The hook landed onto Shook as well, but there's nobody there. The fight just stops.
Yeah, Genji was farming on the bottom lane. Mega Inferno Bomb was available for Alex, but he decided to hold onto it. Nobody else from Gambit committed. Now, Alliance are trying to make a play for this blue buff. They have 4 members nearby, and remember, Wicked has got teleports available. Doesn't look like they're going to decide better of it and back away. Ace in the hole has been channeled.
Yeah, Shook actually popped his ultimate there, I think, to get rid of some of the damage from that one. Meanwhile, Wicked, surprise, surprise, continues to be bullied here in this top lane by Darien.
So again, if you just look at that blue buff area, part of the reason Alliance didn't go for the challenge, or they didn't try to take it, they have to commit everything. They have to go all in with Kha'Zix's ultimate, with Death Mark. They didn't have Tidal Wave. It had been used earlier when Nif had been jumped on. So a large part of their team power wasn't there for them.
There's not a lot of damage, not a lot of vision down at this point either. As Froggen here turns around, going to put the Death Mark down. Exhaust is onto him. Has he done enough to kill Alex? No way. That Death Mark got nowhere near enough damage. Can he escape? One more auto attack should do it. The Flay comes in. Alex actually flashes together kill. And now Diamond in the middle is trying to get to his turret. The Cullen will get the kill. Edward has hooked in Chuck.
But you don't want it.
No, you don't. You don't want to pull in the bug. And there is a heal from Nick. Meanwhile, Darien comes out. It's bubbled under the tower. And he can't fight any longer.
That was a brilliant bubble from Nif, preventing Darien from getting anywhere near Shook. So at the end of the day, they trade 1 kill for 1. I like the fact that Alex had a good timing on that exhaust. He managed to reduce all of the damage from Deathmark, and Froggen got a little bit baited in there. He went on to Alex as Edward came around the corner, and that was when Froggen realized, oh, I don't want to be here. While all of that action is going on, you'll notice that Genja is just about to secure that bottom turret. So finally, that sort of pushing from earlier pays off in favor of Gambit. The 2-1 up in towers, and Alliance are trying to even it out in this mid lane.
Mega Inferno Bomb only just caught onto the back end of Nif there, and to be honest, didn't really do all that much damage. He's got that Athene's Unholy Grail now completed, has Alex. Froggen did just go down to the bottom lane to make sure that Genja doesn't continue to push on through. Both AD carries, if we look at them, similar items at this point. Bloodthirster was done for tabs, and, well, Genja's got the money for it, I'm sure, at this stage now. He's 138 to 115 CS ahead. Did have the money for it, but actually he picked up a crit cloak instead.
Well, we'll see if he can manage to get his Infinity Edge built up. Bloodthirst Infinity Edge is the standard itemization for Genja this week. We'll be keeping a blog up to date as to what the core items are, but you know what? It's working from so far. He's a little bit ahead on CS. The 2 lanes that Genja has been in has secured the towers, and thanks to the fact that he's got that Caitlyn with her long range, she's now rotated to the mid lane and is now going to be trying to get control of this area of the map. We'll see if Tabs just uses the Culling to defend the tower. You know, right now, I think Gambit want to force a siege situation, force Alliance to respond, because their champion's going to be much more powerful in that scenario.
Holding on nicely though. Tabs will be thankful for that bit of time alone to get himself some farm back, because Genja really has done what Genja does somehow so well. You see him almost disappear. You don't really see him on the screen for quite a while. Then he comes back and he's regained himself a CS lead. He's currently sat just under 20, and that's going to only increase now as he gets another wave pushed onto him by Froggen.
There is one very big concern for Gambit, and the concern is, how do they deal with Froggen? Because Froggen already has a Blade of the Rune King, is working towards that Black Cleaver, there's very few people who can 1v1 him when he is busy split pushing. So with that in mind, we need to see how they're going to deal with it. As it stands, Froggen's thinking about this fight. He doesn't have the support of his team yet. They're going to get there very quickly, though, and it's too late. It's simply too late.
Dragon gone down, Alliance back away, and I almost want to disagree with you there. You know, Alex Ich is moving up to a Zhonya's Hourglass. Darien plays a Renekton, which we all know he builds Zhonya's Hourglass on as well. So he's going to have that going for him. Wicked meanwhile pushing this top lane. Again, we see the Mega Inferno Bomb from Alex Ich being thrown up there just to clear out those minions. Wicked doesn't care, he'll farm between the towers. Here is Darien, and he will probably need that Zhonya's if he carries on like this. Deathmark is going to trigger. It's a lot of damage, but will he be able to dive away? Actually, Froggen decides not to chase.
Froggen, I don't really know why. He had vision of the rest of The rest of Gambit, you'll see Darren is running into enemy
I think
territory.
he hit the wrong button, surely.
Potentially, could have been. Could also be the fact that Darren is running towards him.
But now he's
farm up.
chasing him, so it doesn't make sense. I'm pretty sure he hit the wrong button.
Yeah, we'll go with that one for now. Darren is most likely going to suicide. Doesn't give up the kill to Frog, and the rest of Gambit are now invading. Now, that was the example. Zed can kill Renekton now. We'll have to see how he deals with it. Blue buff secured by Shook. Pretty sure that was on Shook.
Yeah, it was. Shook took that one. And Wicked actually getting exhausted here, throwing a lot of damage his way. He's already decently tanky, though. Got that Sunfire cape in there, as does Darian on Renekton. So the two solo laners, the ones that are going to be getting beefy, well on their way to doing so.
So we've seen there, Froggen can already 1v1 Darian. Darian only has that Sunfire cape in his Ninja Tabard. So it's not enough armor to deal with Froggen at the moment. If Darren eventually gets to the Randian Zone and maybe Thornmail point, which we are expecting because there's no magic damage threat from Alliance, that's when things can turn in his favor. On the same token, once Alex gets his Hourglass, assuming he outplays with a satchel and a flash maybe, he can stay away from the rest of the auto attacks, and Genji needs a Quicksilver Sash. You know, they have options available to them, but they need the items to get there. So there is still a very big question that Gambit needs to answer. How do you control the split push? Notice, Wicked's in the top lane. We talked in the picks and bans how Siobhan and Zed, when Alliance play them, are super split pushers, and that's exactly what Alliance are trying to do to regain control of this game.
We see that Darren doesn't seem to be too worried about Froggen just dashing in towards him. He was a level behind, but he still does decent amounts of damage. I mean, he's Zed, after all. And once again has that death mark available. Look at Darian diving in there. That's because Diamond is actually coming, but here comes the TP. Death mark is down. Wicked gonna join in this party. The death mark doesn't quite get the finisher, and there is the kickback. Froggen won't be able to chase.
No, he won't, but Shook wants to. I think Shook used his ulti there. No, did not. Looked like he was coming in at a faster pace. Nevertheless, Darian gets away with his life. Diamond actually hesitated on the kickback to make sure that he hit Froggen. He lined the two champions up, knocked Froggen back in the air thanks to the Dragon's Rage kick, and that allows Darian to get away. I think Darren was trying to bait Diamond in, and they got the teleport. That is very important to note. So the next few minutes, Wicked will most likely try to stick closer to his teammates, I expect, because he needs to respond to the team by being closer, by running there with the burnout. So we'll see how he plays it. As it stands, he's currently split pushing.
Goes the hook, doesn't get niffed, but the turret will go down. Oh no, I called that one a little bit too early. Only needed one more auto attack out of Alex Ich, and that one will surely go down with the next wave. Also got an update from Genjil's build. Actually, forget that one because the tidal wave comes in and caught out Eddie. He's forced to flash away. Nif actually went really, really low there as well. Darian only needs to step forward, hit that turret once, and that will be the third of the game. Can they get any more? Shook actually goes invisible there with a charge of his ultimate. And Gambit look like they might want to keep pushing.
I really like the Gambit's decision to push on the tower. They knew the teleport was down from Wicked. They seen him pushing in that bottom lane. And because Wicked took so long to respond, Gambit were always going to be in an advantageous position. They also got a lot of good poke down. Now, thanks to the fact that their team comp is better at sieging, they're going to try stick to this in a turret. A good culling will at least kill the minion wave, but at the end of the day, this is what Gambit's team comp wants to be doing. I don't know if they're going to stick around for the entire time. They're going to get some vision in the jungle, and we'll see. It looks like they want to just keep this one up. Alex has blue buff, so as long as he can spam those bouncing bombs out, advantage Gambit in this situation.
Froggen actually waiting off to the side here. Puts down a bit of poke on towards Diamond. And he's going to look to come in and from that side area have a better choice on who he wants to go for. I like the fact that Gambit are keeping Genji on the opposite side of the map. They've got Darian basically blocking the route for Zed as they hook in Wicked. He's not really the dragon that they want to be pulling into the middle of the team. But again, we see those bouncing bombs over and over and over from Alex Ich, causing them some problems.
The ever-present threat from Froggen, though, is being noted. You'll notice that Darian is sticking on the top half of this mid lane, trying to block the entrance from Froggen. Froggen was spamming away those shurikens from the side lane, and as Gambit backed away, he immediately used the time to get in cleanly. Now, you still see Wicked. He went to the bottom. Now he's going to make his way up through the jungle. Shyvanas want to engage from a side lane. They want to Dragon's Descent and, you know, come in from a flank. But at this point in time, Gambit decided their power play is over, and it is because that blue buff wore off on Alex. He no longer had the mana regen or the cooldown, so he's backed away, going to spend some of his money and make his way back to this mid lane.
Moving forward, so I'm going to touch back on Genji now. Infinity Edge is done. Cutlass is now being complete, or it was already there a little while ago, but yeah, Infinity Edge Cutlass. So when I said he's got the money for his Bloodthirster, oh boy, was I wrong.
Now, I will say that while a Blade of the Ruined King, in addition to Infinity Edge, is not the best synergy, it actually isn't as bad on a champion like Kaiten, who is heavily auto-attack reliant, especially when you've got that front line of Shyvana that you want to burn through. So it's not all bad, not necessarily 100% ideal. So we'll see if he decides to go for Zephyr as his next item. I would prefer armor penetration or critical hit chance in either order. Right now, Dragon has respawned, so in order for Gambit to look for a team fight, they need poke to land. If Gambit do not deal enough poke damage to land, oh, Genjis might die.
He's got to use his barrier here very, very early, far too early even. The Ignite is ticking away. Is he going to fall? No, survives just from that. I don't know why he used the barrier when he really did to block some of that extra damage from Froggen, as again the Mega Inferno bomb comes across. They're going to save their turret.
So smart play by Froggen to at least try to pick up a kill, but it didn't garner them anything. Because Genji didn't go down, they now need to be careful. There's no death mark available. Gambit are going to pick up a Dragon, uncontested, and the rest of Alliance may try get on that top inner turret. Froggen is pushing the wave as quickly as possible. They've stolen the red buff away. I don't see any wards being placed down other than on that red buff area. So Alliance, if they had more vision, they could have actually gotten a little bit more out of this, but they may be able to get this tower down. The rest of Gambit are responding, so this is going to be risky. This is a 4-on-4 situation.
Genji needs to step forward with him here, though.
4-on-5.
Yeah, this is bad news. This is real bad news, actually, for Alliance.
Wow.
But they just turn it around. Edward gets blown to pieces. The bubble from Nif doing work for them. And as I say bad news, I mean bad news and good news, obviously, for Alliance as they take down Edward. He was completely surprised by that.
If that didn't happen, that would have been terrible. There was actually 3 members of Alliance. I've completely forgot how to count. Froggen had backed away, so he wasn't with the team. He was recalling in the bushes. And the 3 members of Alliance were backing away with 5 members of Gambit surrounding them. But because Edward went down, all of a sudden the tables have turned, and now you've got to try going 1 by 1. So we do see a lot of damage applied to this mid turret, and Alliance, they're playing the map. This is what Alliance have to do. If they ever sit in a siege situation for prolonged periods of time, they can't handle it. Their comp doesn't have the ability to deal. So by rotating top, middle, bottom, trying to get pressure on the towers, that's their key to victory.
Another update from Genja's blog. He's got himself a seal now.
It's positive. It's positive. We won't judge it. We won't judge it. So we'll see where he decides to go with his build. Looking at some of the rest of the items, Randian's Omen being worked on by Darien. Is getting closer to that point. We see Wicked. He's picked himself up a Bilgewater Cutlass as well. So going to be getting some more attack speed. Shyvana's already a great split pusher with all of the AoE damage from her burnout. And with a Blade of the Ruined King, there's actual kill pressure on her against a champion like Caitlyn or Lee Sin if she can catch them 1 by 1. So a couple of key items being built out.
Yeah, also on the other side as well, Trinity Force is done for Tabs, and the Last Whisper was just picked up by Froggen as well. So he's going to be stalking for a few more kills, and Genja there will actually spot him thanks to that ward.
Look at the rest of Gambit. They're grouped in the middle. They're trying to siege.
And they've not got their AD carry with them right now, which might come back to hurt them, but Diamond is finally moving in there as well. And it's again all about that pressure from Alex. It's just lobbing in the damage from Max Range and trying to keep them zoned off the turret.
We need to keep a close eye on Alex with blue buff. The 2 times that Alex has had blue buff now in the 18 minutes plus zone, Gambit have grouped up in that mid lane and begun sieging. And we'll see if they back away the moment it ends. Now, it's pretty logical. Mana spam gives you bombs for days plus the cooldown reduction. And because of the strength of their comp, they seem to be in a good position. But Alex is a little overextended.
Oh, he jumps away. There comes the wave, and Darian's the only one to surf it, but they're going to keep pushing out here. The culling comes through. Edward tries for a cheeky hook. That doesn't land, and the team's disengaged.
That is very important for Gambit. Knowing that the culling's not up means the wave clear is significantly reduced. In addition, it's over a minute before the tidal wave's going to become available. So if Gambit can make use of this window where those ultimates aren't there, they're in a good position. All of the pressure for wave clear is going to be on those arrows and keeping minions in a straight line, and it's working out for now. Piercing lights plus the shurikens, and they defend well, so kudos to Alliance.
Yeah, I think Alex Ich being that low was somewhat of a concern, knowing that Froggen is going to be there as well to help and just jump onto him and finish him off without any real problems. Genja, in the meantime, after being down in that bottom lane, actually pushed himself up into the jungle, and he's just going to farm out as much as he possibly can. 239 to the 225 CS of Tabs. 0-0-0 right now. I mean, Gambit obviously only have the 1 kill either way, but he's not really been involved in terms of any pushes with the team. He's been the one that's often distracting someone else from Alliance when that comes around.
Until Genja picks up armor penetration, I do not believe he's going to have a very big impact in this game at all. You've got the makings of Arandians, you've got makings of Arandians on Wicked, plus Sunfire Cape, you've got Arandians Omen on Shook already. The two of them are going to be in his face so quickly and so often that Genja's going to need some healing and protection from the rest of his team. And if he can't burn through, you know, the 200-odd armor on both of those champions, he's going to be in an incredibly tough spot. Right now, though, Gambit a little bit split up. They've all over the place. Shook, Nif, and Tabs maybe fancy a shot. They've gone in.
They've gone in. Edward's going to be the target from this one. Diamond comes around. Shook actually will stealth off. There's a hook onto Shook. Froggen has stealth down. There's the Mega Inferno Bomb. Did he use the Death Mark? He did use the Death Mark.
It almost killed Diamond, but it just wasn't enough damage. The culling shots were shredding him down on HP, and I think there was a very good Mega Inferno Bomb from Alex. Not only did it get rid of the minions that were sitting by the tower, it did damage to members of Alliance, so they needed to back away. Also props to Edward for landing a very important hook on Shook, preventing him from jumping in there and securing any kills.
And on the topic of armor and the fact that Genja's got nothing, not the workings of a Last Whisper or even that for now. He did exactly the same against Fnatic as the hook lands here again. There's a double bubble, and that means trouble as Shook dives in there. Is he going to survive it? Gambit have got lost one man. Make that two here. That's 2 kills for just the one single one of Shook, and now they're going to chase further. Genja is so low. That turret is easy pickings here for Alliance.
Nif has landed so many clutch bubbles this game already. Every time he does, somebody dies. It's not over yet. It's 4 members of Alliance. Grab the tower. Now Darian's in trouble. Tabs can continue the pressure.
That was a lot of damage coming in. They've actually got a siege minion here as well. Darian trying to do as much damage as he can. There's the ace in the hole. He hits Wicked. He does literally nothing to him. And that will be 2 turrets plus the kills. Great play from Alliance.
Yes, very decisive. Alliance need to do that if they want to continue taking control of this game. They are now in the tower advantage. Not only do they have the lead, they've got better positioning for Dragon. Diamond, he's the one caught out. Can the bubble land?
Oh, Wicked in behind him here, and actually Diamond just dodges off. But it doesn't matter. We're going to see Froggen just diving straight in there. Diamond kicks him back. That's enough damage, though, with the Death Mark. Froggen now picking up another one, sitting at 2-on-1. They get the Dragon as well, and they increase their gold lead.
So Froggen doesn't mess up the combo that time around. It's not over yet, because now they found Gambit.
They're going in once again. Wicked dives to the back. Alex jumps away, but not far enough. Wicked gets that one. Now they go to Edward. Shook is causing all kinds of problems for them, and that will be 3 more kills. Yeah, okay, we'll count Diamond in that one. 3 more kills with the Dragon, plus the kills earlier, and the 2 turrets. That was a massive swing.
Gambit were all over the place. If you go all the way back to the mid lane play, they got jumped on unsuspectingly, I think, by Alliance. Alliance caught them out, secured a bunch of kills. Then when Gambit were trying to defend their mid tower, get caught out again and out of position. And unfortunately for Gambit, their comp needs to be grouped. They need to be stuck together. They need to land poke. And if they are not poking down Alliance, Alliance has got so many tools to engage with. Zed can chase for days with his Living Shadows and his Death Mark. Kha'Zix is going to leap all over the place, and you're not going to outrun a Shyvana. Nope. So Gambit need to get better wards, and they cannot run the risk of getting caught out of position again, because you've seen how punishing it is. They've lost 2 towers, a Dragon, and 4 or 5 kills in the last few minutes.
And especially not going to outrun a Shyvana, who just before that last fight finished the randoms and finished the Blade of the Ruin King. Froggen, though, might just find himself in trouble. Diamond actually missing there. Is Froggen going to start fighting him? Alex is just going to go low. They call it, strips him down. Tabs on a rampage. Meanwhile, Froggen is being chased by 4. He's gone back onto Diamond. Can he get the finisher? No, he can't. Genja gets him down, but Alliance are pushing the turret.
Not only are they on their middle lane turret, they've got Wicked pushing the bottom turret. Froggen pulled 4 members of Gambit towards him. Gambit have no idea where they're meant to be right now. They've lost another turret, and Wicked should be able to get the bottom turret as well.
Well, not just Wicked, the rest of the team now start to move in. Diamond's going to be the single man from Gambit's side to try and come over and do anything about it. He can't do anything about it. Tabs finishes it off. That's 9-3 in kills. Look at the gold now, 5,000 gold in the last 5 minutes. Alliance have really swung this one.
Just like that, Alliance completely arrest control of this game. They find crucial picks onto Gambit, and then Gambit string together numerous positional errors. They were chasing Froggen in the top lane with 4 members, and that's what we talked about earlier. Who is going to deal with Froggen? Who's going to hold him down? Because you need to invest so many resources into killing Froggen, it allows Alliance to get away with it elsewhere. Now Shook is battling with Darien. They're going to turn it back around.
This was possibly a little silly. There's another bubble landing onto Darien. He takes a lantern home, and well, Diamond could have just followed him with the safeguard if need be. Didn't need to in the end, though. And now Alliance settling, but Wicked just going to keep playing the Shyvana game.
Froggen is going to keep doing that play because nobody can deal with Froggen right now one-on-one. And even in 2-on-1 scenarios, there's actually a good chance that if it's anyone other than Darien and Diamond, they can kill him. Froggen is going to keep trying to draw resources towards him. Then when people react to either shut down Froggen, it's going to allow the rest of Alliance to make plays. Maybe go for Baron, maybe invade, get vision in the jungle, for example. As they're doing right now, it's actually Wicked split pushing, and 3 members of Alliance. That's very aggressive. They didn't have Froggen or Wicked with them, but Teleport was available, and, well, Tidal Wave. It was good to look at. I don't really know what else I meant to say. Aggressive play, it didn't work. That's the summary.
Froggen did just finish off his Guardian Angel while the rest of his team were having a bit of fun there on the top side of that Gambit jungle, and that makes him even harder to stop. Even if you're drawn to him, you're going to have to kill him twice, hope that he doesn't finish one of you off in the process, and then you've got to calculate where the rest of the team's going to be. Again, Froggen is pushing up this top lane. Look at Wicked on the minimap there. He's already to the steps of the base here of Gambit. This 1-3-1 style that Alliance are going with, somehow Gambit are going to have to try and stop it.
They can't yet. That's the problem. I mean, because Froggen is so difficult to deal with, even though there are tools, there are ways to negate his death mark, it's going to take multiple people to do that. And as long as Alliance can keep this map control and keep forcing Gambit to react to them, they can just wait for the objective to present itself and then go for the kill. I do feel that if Alliance don't get a convincing number of kills, though, it's going to be quite difficult to break through the inhibitor turrets, because Gambit have got pretty good wave clear with Caitlyn, with Ziggs. And if they get caught up by a death sentence, then they will actually go down. But we'll see how they play it. As it stands, Alliance have got a little bit more time in this top lane. You'll notice 4 members are grouped up. Alex hasn't made a gesture just yet, now slowly responding. But, you know, at the end of the day, Alliance are going to get caught up. Here's goes Darien.
Oh, he is so far away from the rest of the team. This is not good. Darien, oh, that was almost a cool flash. Failed flash, I'd call it, by the end of it. As there's the jump in. Alex going to use his Zonias, but surely they can mop up the rest of them. Alex does go down. Did some damage on the way. There is Diamond, and Shook picks up another one. That's an ace for Alliance. And look at those spawn timers. 50 seconds across the board. They can win it.
And that is exactly what we said. In order for Alliance to get through the inhibitor turrets, they need to get a convincing team fight. They need to get multiple members of Gambit down, and they do it. All 5 of them, the on the inhibitor. I don't know if they can tank through these Nexus turrets. We'll have to see. There's a lot of time on the clock, and Wicked, actually, he's got so much armor. It looks like they're going for the win.
They're going to go for it. We've got 7 seconds until Edward comes back up. They're just splitting out the tanking of these turrets. Tabs used his barrier in there as well. Edward's going to come flying out, lands the hook, but that doesn't matter. The Nexus goes down, and Alliance get back to winning ways just when it counts.
For the first time in Super Week, Alliance secure themselves a win. They are now 3-1 over Gambit over the course of the spring split. And it was hairy. It was hairy. I think Gambit definitely had a stronger early game, but some misplays were punished brutally by Alliance. And that allowed them to get back into the matchup and secure the win.
Overall performance there, top notch from Alliance. I want to point out Wicked here, 4-0-4 with that Shyvana. Did brilliantly in the lane. I mean, if you look at his farm compared to that of Darien, 100 CS more Wicked had at this point of the game. Got himself that Randuin's, that Blade of the Root just before they had that big fight that completely swung the game around for them.
Yeah, I think, you know, the game plan from Alliance was very solid. They wanted to play the map. They wanted to split push. And they struggled to get it going, but then once they did, there was never any problems. And you also have to give praise to Nif. The number of Aqua Prison stuns that led to teamfight victories and avoided them getting collapsed upon was very, very crucial. He got 3 or 4 bubbles that were literally teamfight changing. If those bubbles did not land, it could have been a completely different story.
And we've seen in the last couple of days so many compositions that have had the strengths when it comes to sieging. I mean, look at this one. You've got Caitlyn hammering away, Ziggs, the prime example of throwing stuff in there. We said you've got to fight that at some point if you're going to hold on to the game and not fall too far behind. And that's exactly what started. He throw out that Aqua Prison, get himself 2, if we think about the one on the inner turret there. Yeah. Real great double bubble. And then we saw the tidal wave going out as well. And I think we can also say that Gambit played it a little bit messy. The fight around Dragon, where there were 2 or 3 kills, Dragon went down, and then all of a sudden Gambit were back with the respawns, and then they lost another couple of guys. And I feel that Gambit's head just was maybe not in the right place this weekend.
They got a little shook up, I think is the best way to describe it, because the early game did go in their favor. They were sieging pretty well. They lost that first team fight in the mid lane after the double bubble landed. Yeah. And all of a sudden, they were scrambling to regain control. And because they didn't have complete map control anymore, they were out of position. Previously, they were able to run around like that. Previously in the game, they were not punished for moving around individually in their own jungle. But now all of a sudden, because that area of the map had been opened up, there were no more towers, and we were later in the matchup, Alliance's composition did come into fruition. I also think that there was no clear answer for Zed. The only tool that Gambit had in that matchup was to siege. And the moment nobody could deal with Zed, he pulled so much control from the rest of the team.
The question is, where does this all leave us in our grand scheme of things? We've got so many different outcomes. I mean, you've got a piece of paper here that's full of all different colors and all different possibilities.
So there's a number of opportunities, number of possibilities. And if I'm reading this correctly, there's only one outcome right now that has no tiebreakers. And the remaining 5 or 6 options do have tiebreakers. We will be confirming those in just a little bit of time. But yeah, I think we're on course.
Well, let's be honest. We all thought it was going to happen. I actually thought that we could have had a much bigger tie than what is actually possible here. But I have to say, if we're going to have more games, then so be it, because that's what we're all here for.
I completely agree with you. I'm definitely looking forward to it. We will be checking out those numbers in just a moment or two. But I think positive win for Alliance. And Gambit continue their losing streak. They're 1-3 on the weekend.
Yeah.
And I don't think they've been playing at their best. I think that is the best way to describe it. Their game against Rocket was flawless. They played that siege composition perfectly. And then every other comp that they've played so far, there has been so many things you can question, you can talk about. Was it a misplay? I mean, you've also got to give credit to Alliance. They punished each of those positional outplays. You know, they made sure they made it count.
They didn't mess around there either. I mean, a lot of teams would have said, we've gone low. I mean, Shook had to flash away from the inhibitor turret after tanking it up there. A lot of teams would have said, no, it's too risky. We can't do this. If we do it too slow, they're going to respawn. We're all dead. Then how much are we going to lose after that? But they made that call and they stuck to it, and they did really well to close out the game. They had a lot of very, very decisive moves throughout that game, and that's just a positive and a testament to Alliance. I mean, before the, let's call it, horrible start to the Super Week, losing to Fnatic, losing to Millennium, they had 8 games without a single loss.
And they do have one more game today. So it's going to be between Alliance and Copenhagen Wolves as the final match of the day to determine how this table is going to end up. And I think we'll have to see who comes into the game with more confidence, because both Copenhagen Wolves and Alliance have had very good moments today and this week. So we'll see how it works out.
Well, Shox and Deficio are standing by with Wicked's Alliance. Oh, wait a minute. Alliance is Wicked, that's right. So let's check in with them.
Thank you very much, Joe. Yeah, Wicked, 0-4, almost a dream, but you didn't because you won today. Oh, sorry. I had to say it. Anyway, very good game from you guys today, but I wanted to start by maybe asking you about that, because you were on such a good winning streak, and then coming in here, the Fnatic loss, maybe it was expected somewhere, but then the Millennium loss out of nowhere. How did you kind of react to that?
I don't think the Fnatic loss was expected. I actually think we were expected to win because we have been doing so well, but I think we played pretty aggressive before, and then we off our game, we played really bad. I think even in this game today, we played bad, and they had all the control in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, they had the control, and Gambit also got the objectives in the game here. Yet it never really seemed to me like you guys were too far behind, or it seemed like you always were in control. How come?
Well, Gambit's main problem is they had all the control, but the rotations were really bad. We had pushed their creeps up on the side lanes, so they'd be losing creeps, and then pushed all the way back to us while they were just standing mid, so they got levels behind. Like, Renekton was a level up on me in the beginning, And then because of that, he was 2 levels behind at level 14.
We actually thought when we were watching Champ Select that the preconceived plan would be to split push, but you didn't even have to do that much. Tell me when you know, okay, we can just team fight actually and win it.
Well, our main goal wasn't really to just split push. We just wanted to farm up and get to late game, because once we got to late game, we believed that we would have the control.
I'd actually like to know from you, personally, what do you think the best thing about Alliance is? What are you guys so good at that the other teams are, not on the same level at?
I think the strongest thing about our team is we always stay positive. We don't really get super mad at each other over time. We don't hold grudges. We'll always just focus on our one dream and goal, and that's to win.
If you look at now your team in general, and obviously you've made changes, the teammates you've played with last year, you haven't done it. Do you feel that that is necessary, that you couldn't have ever performed that way if that hadn't happened?
I think changes are necessary. Like, people will always get worse over time or better, and you will need to make changes once in a while. That's the same in sports and everywhere else in the world.
Do you maybe think that after seeing Gambit that they have been dominating in the past, but right now it doesn't seem to be going so well, is that something they should think of as you know them so well?
I think Gambit as a team is kind of weird compared to other teams because they got a family, 2 of them got a wife, I think, and 1 got a kid, so they can't practice as much. Plus they're traveling a lot because they're always in Russia, so they don't have as much time as other teams, and I think that's mainly hurting them. I don't think it's the individual player's skill.
Coming into playoffs then, a lot of people are going to expect Alliance to go to the semifinal or even the final here. For you, is there any team you don't want to face, and how far can you guys take it?
Well, I'm not sure if we expected to win it or something like that. I don't think so, at least. We're going to do our best, and I don't really care who we face, because to reach our dream, we will need to beat everyone.
All right, well, thank you very much. Congratulations. You, of course, have another game coming up later. Good luck in that one as well. As for us, it's time to take a caster cool down, but when we return, Fnatic will be rumbling against Roccat on the Rift. Don't touch that browser.
Zone him.
I'm coming from where?
I can ulti him. No, back.
No, I can do it.
Okay, you zone him. Good job. You do track.
Good job. Can we go for them here? I can go on them.
Yeah, go on 6. 6 no hourglass yet. Really good job.
Bash.
Edward. Really good job, guys. Take the blue, I'll base for our.
There's 20 seconds leave. We could go Nashor even.
Let me have this in.
We can go Nash.
Go straight. Nash, I can
go Nash.
Good job, brother.